for when we're fleshing coyotes. And I've been having a lot of fun doing it, so I think we're gonna keep it up. I'm gonna hang this one up real quick, and we're gonna go in reverse today. So usually I start by fleshing a couple of coyotes and then showing you how to put up the fur. So I think I'm out of stretchers. I don't have that many stretchers. I got one board I could use if I got a real small one, which I think I do. I might try that board today. So I've got one board that I use for the little one, and then I've got this one that I don't have enough hooks, I don't have enough stretchers. So I'm gonna take a couple of these coyotes off the stretchers first. That way I've got stretchers to put my two coyotes that I have hanging on. So let me throw this back over this rail real quick. Throw that over the rail, and then I'm gonna glove up. And you guys, I really like answering your questions about, you know, the trapping industry and stuff like that. So if you have questions to ask, go ahead, because it kind of helps, you know, guide the stream a little bit. Get this nice and clean, wipe this down, get all this salt off of here so we don't get salt in the fur. Okay, so this one's been hanging for a couple of days, and it is like really, really nice. This is maybe one of my best ones yet. It is just super good. Super, super nice. There we go, first one. So we're just putting up some fur. I'm a trapper, and we are putting up a few coyotes. Just kind of going through showing how to do a few simple things to them to, you know, make your catch worth it. Gas off there. There we go. So that's what you want. You want them nice and crispy sounding. There we go. You want them suckers nice and crispy. If you can just hear how it's kind of like paper, that's what you want. The ears are nice and pinned forward. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna go off screen here for just a minute. What are you doing? I am putting up fur. I'm a trapper, and we are going through how to do some fleshing on coyotes, and this is one that is ready to be hung up for storage. So this was a coyote, now it's fur. Yep, that's a coyote. Yep, I'm gonna go off camera real quick, just for a sec. Actually, I think I got another one here that's ready to go. Ugh. So this is what they look like on the stretcher. This is one of my worst ones, actually. I'll show you the difference. If you give me just a sec, I'll show you the difference. So you've got this one, and it has right here, you see that? It's a little bare spot where this coyote's what's called rubbed, where it's like went under too many fences, basically, or that maybe it was fighting. And I'll show you a comparison. This one is not rubbed, so they look totally different. This one here is the higher quality one. I may not even be able to sell this one. It just kind of depends on what the market does. But this one's ready to come off here. This one's been drying for very, very many days. I was really worried about it because it was like a really old, nasty frazzle fur one. So I wasn't too sure how long it was going to take, and let's see if I can even get it off the board. Yep. There we go. So there's two coyotes. If you guys want to see the whole process here in just a minute, I'm going to be fleshing a couple of them in just a sec. What else? You're new. Cool deal. Ah, yeah, that's pretty typical. We have a bunch of people come in and out through the whole time, but if you want to learn some stuff about trapping, or even what trapping is, now is a really good time, because that is what I like to do. I'm gonna go off camera here real quick and hang these up, and then I'll be right back on to show you what we do from beginning to end. So that's a one that's been skinned, but it's still got all the fat on the inside. You can see like all this stuff in there. That's all got to come off, and I'm about to show you guys how to do that if you stick around. Just a sec. I gotta hang these. I know you guys can't see it, but behind the screen here, I've got a big old, basically a clothesline for hanging coyotes on, and I've got like 10 of them on here. Ouch. Got like 10 of these suckers on there. There we go. Whew. It's starting to get heavy. There we go. Whew. All right, I'm back. Hey, we're back up again. Yep, skinning coyotes. Skinning coyotes. These ones are actually skinned. This one's skinned, and I got another one here to do. Hang on, this one's wet. That's the one I just skinned. Just give me a moment. I promise I'll be back with you. So I guess I can show you this. So this is a really small one that I caught today. This one was fresh caught like just a few hours ago. Yep, so this one was fresh caught a few hours ago, and I just finished washing the outside, so it's still really wet, and it won't be dry till tomorrow. Oof, I should have brushed that a little better. So it won't be dry till tomorrow, but I'm just gonna go through, and I have 2 hanging up that are ready to be fleshed. I'll show you how to do it. Where'd my hooks go? There it is. So I've got these 2 to do. These are really, really nice coyotes, especially this one. Just gorgeous fur. All right, so we're gonna do, I think, the lower quality one first, and I'll show you. Give it a little kiss. Not these, man. These suckers they got a lot of diseases, buddy. It's worse than your high school girlfriend for sure. So this is just a fur brush. When you're skinning them, they get a lot of sandburrs and cockleburrs and stuff depending on where you're at. So before I skin them, I always like brush them really, really well, especially like right here behind the ears, because this is one of the places where like if they get a sandburr or something, they can't get to it to get it out. Let's see. So this here, got a lot of dried blood on this one because when I was washing these last night, I didn't get to do it the way I wanted to do it because everything here is frozen. And usually I've got my garden hose. I just give them a good washing with that. But that was not a possibility yesterday. So like just these little specks of dried blood and stuff, that's all got to come off of there. Do you sell that fur? If so, how much do you charge? Yeah, so I do sell. I typically don't sell like direct to consumers. I typically sell to like a big fur buyer. And these are what's called raw fur, right? So when it's done, it'll be what's called finished fur, and that is what the buyers are looking for, is finished fur where it's been fleshed and dried. I keep back a few pelts to tan. I've actually got a few friends around right now that are like asking if I'll save a couple and do some soft tans for them, just like for wall hangers and stuff like that. And then I'll keep a few like my really good ones. Uh-oh, this might be a problem. There we go. So that's a leg, and that's one of the legs. I might keep a few really good ones to try my hand at like making stuff out of them, like hats and like I had an idea for making a vest, but you never know how that stuff's gonna go. Sometimes it's just kind of a pipe dream. Yep. That's about usual. I never have too many viewers on the stream just because it's like not something that a lot of folks are interested in. But the people that are interested in it typically stick around. So this is the second one I've had like this, where I think some other coyote is like really doing a number on them. The one I just skinned, do you have to wash the fur before you make it into finished fur? Yeah, so these furs have been washed. So I wash them before I flesh and dry, just to help get all like the dirt and grime and stuff off of them. It really helps in the fleshing process. Just real quick, I was gonna show you something. So right here, something has bitten this animal. Something bit him, and you can see like how it's just real red right there. That's from the swelling, and then this is dried blood on the outside that I couldn't get washed off. So I think something was, and right here is the same. Look at this, something bit all the way through him right there. That's not from being shot, because he was shot in the head, and right there, look at all that. Something was just tearing him up, man. And then I caught this one today. This one I caught today has the exact same problem. Look at this. All that's not from me making skinning mistakes. That's from him, something getting after him before I got there to get him off the line. So yeah, I don't know what's getting after him, but something's tearing my furs up, and I'm either gonna have to catch it or shoot it. I think it's another coyote. It's always so hard to tell with these things. Always so hard to tell with these things. Okay, so we are gonna finish brushing this guy out, and then I really need to get like this. This is a big old scab right here. That's got to come off. Otherwise, it's gonna cause all kinds of problems here in a little bit, and I can't have those problems when I'm trying to skin these. Otherwise, it makes me look like a dummy. Good night. There we go. Now we're making progress. That might be a sand burr right there. I don't think that's a scab of some kind. So you can see right here how it's just that dried blood. It's just, I can't leave that there because when I go to skin, when I get to that part, it'll just blow a hole right through the pelt. Have you ever thrown up during skinning? No. No, I got a pretty old strong stomach. I skin, so it's not just coyotes that I catch everything. So the badgers, for some reason, badgers have a worse smell than like even a skunk does. I don't know what it is about a badger, but woo, they reek. All right, that should be good on that one. Let's see if I got problems on this side too. Yep. So see, here's another one of those clots. Looks like that's the only one though. Yeah, that one actually came out pretty easy. Cool deal. If I just have to trim that little bit of skin off later, I will. Let's get all this gross fur out of this brush. Skunks, everybody says that skunks are the worst thing to skin, and they're really not, because, you know, after that smell hits you so fast, you just totally get used to it. Okay, so now we're gonna roll him out. So he's nice and brushed, he's nice and pretty. This is one of one of the better ones I've caught this year. Look at that, man. Just a great looking coyote all around. Really nice fur, a lot of fat. Good coyote, good coyote. So we're gonna roll him out so that way his skin is on the outside. And we can actually do the job that we need to do to him. Oh, there's a skinning mistake. So see right there? I cut a hole in him on accident. That's on the belly, so it's not gonna like drop the value or anything. But I try to keep that stuff to a minimum. Oh, good grief. Come on. I'm just gonna snap him. If I can just get a hold of an ear or something. There we go. Yeah. Because I gotta get him all the way flipped where his nose pulls through. But he's been up drying. It got too warm in my fur shed today. There we go. Much better. Looks like I need to work on my ears. Okay, so now he's inside out. We gotta pull the legs through. Where are you located? I might have to buy one. Do you sell to locals? If so, I'd be interested in buying one for my mother. Can you send me a stuffed hog? So I'm located in Oklahoma, and that's about as good as you're gonna get out of me on the location thing. But I mean, if I get some tanned and you keep sticking around for streams, I may even tan some on stream. Hell, I don't know. Come on. There we go. I think that's just gonna have to be what that is. So then we got to flip the ears out. This is always one of the more difficult processes because they have giant ears and you see these little ear holes. You got to poke these humongous ears through those little holes. I'm gonna have to open that one up just a little bit. Can you send me a stuffed hog? We're skinning coyotes, pal, not hogs. If I had access to hogs, I'd shoot them, but I don't think people really skin those. I'm a fur man, not a pig man. There we go. There we go. That ought to fit here through it now. Hey, there we go. There's a coyote ear. Look how big those ears are. Tiny little bitty hole. Big old ear. There we go. Come on. See, when you skin these, I should have left the ear hole just a little bigger, but it was super duper late last night when I was skinning these, and I was ready to be done. This is what happens when you get in a hurry. I shouldn't have gotten in a hurry, and I know I shouldn't have, but I did, and now I'm having trouble. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna need that again. Where's my pliers at? We need those. So now we're gonna put them on the beam. Whew. That one's a tight fit. Not a lot of room. Not a lot of room for error on this one. How much do you usually charge for one? So a finished one, like a finished where it's tanned and softened and worked and everything, that's gonna be like, $80, $90 easy. This, like if I sell it as is right now, I might get $7 for it. So that's what you can expect, like a markup for buying one. 12 years, cool. Cool, cool, cool. So we're gonna need a few tools. So this is a fleshing knife, and then this is actually a flay knife, but I've made it my skinning knife. And then I'm just gonna hone it up real quick, just so it slides a little easier. Okay. I'm gonna towel. I put the towel between. Oh, my fly's undone. Whoopsie. There we go. That's like the third stream I've done that shit on too. Okay. So these ears gotta come off. And the way you get them off is you kind of get a hold of that cartilage, and then you just kind of barely skin that right there and start working your way back. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn this guy so I can actually work on this ear correctly. So see all that? That's because I did not do a very good job on skinning. That has all got to come off. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we are getting somewhere. So there's a trick to this. If you just kind of get these started where you've got it like that. Okay, so now, okay, perfect. So now I can just take my pliers. Let me get these ears off, and then I'll answer what questions I got on there. And then you just start pulling. And it'll come right, gosh dang it, come right off there. At least it's supposed to. There we go. I got her started there now. Oh, good grief. Okay, well that one's started. It looks like I need to give this one just a little more persuasion. Okay, now things should go according to plan. Yep, all right, cool, watch this. So just in one fell swoop, there goes the whole, that's all the cartilage out of that ear. So this is like when you see a dog's ear and it's like kind of flicking around and stuff, that is what is actually the hard part of their ear is. And this is just a little triangular piece of skin that holds it all together. All right, so I got that ear out there. I seen a new question come through. Why would you show this? That's just part of what I do for a living. I mean, I just like trapping, and this is a natural thing. I mean, it's not like something weird. It's just, it's part of the process for putting up coyotes. Why would you do that? That's a dog. It is not a dog. Well, technically it's a canine, but it's a wild animal. Like you can't associate wild animals with like a human pet. This thing, I'll tell you this thing would rather eat your Chihuahua than anything else. It's a food source for them. So we're gonna smooth these ears out too. Try to make things just a little easier. Look, if you don't want to see what's going on here, you don't have to watch. Why would you do that? That's so funny. That's a dog. It's not a dog. People are funny. People are funny. I just kind of go with to each their own. Like if you don't want to trap coyotes, don't do it. But I wish that you would not look down upon what I like to do. There's a lot worse things folks do. Why don't you go judge them? Oh, dang it. Oh, man. I messed that one up. There we go. I got it back. That's a dog. It was a dog. Now it's fur. Can you send me stuff? All right. So same folks. Same questions that's on there. All right. So now that the hard part's done, we're gonna stuff these ears back in there, and we're actually gonna get to skinning on this dude. So this is a fleshing knife. It's got two sides to it. It's got a really, really sharp side and a dull side. And the dull side you just kind of push the crud along. So there's a little bit right here in front of the ears. This one actually doesn't hardly have any in front of the ears. So we might just leave that one alone. Might just leave that one alone on them ears. Yep. I think that's what we're gonna do. It's already starting to dry up there too. So right behind the head, there's a lot of tissue on this membrane, and that's got to go. Like all this red stuff here, that's got to go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get a good start there. There we go, just like that. And you see where it's turning white? That's what we want. Because all that fat and stuff, look at that, all that fat and stuff has got to come off. It's probably okay to leave just a little of this membrane, but the fat has got to go. If you leave it on there, it'll ruin the hide. Any new questions? Nope. If you leave it on there, it'll ruin the hide. And it'll cause what's called slippage, where the fur starts slipping out of the skin, and then your fur is worth nothing. Can't make anything out of it, can't sell it, it's totally useless. So I would much rather do this the right way and get all that crud off of there. So now we're on the belly side. Now we're on the belly side instead of the back, and things are about to get much easier. Once we get to these arms, so that's one of the arms, once we get there, life gets much easier when you're doing this. So there you go, big old chunk. I've got a trash bucket here that I throw all my scraps in. Golly, man, something was just chewing on this guy. Tearing up my furs before I can even get to him. So we got to get all that down there. So we're going to push on the side and back. We're going to push all this off to just below the arms there. And then we just kind of turn them as we go. Why would you do that? Oh man. So if you're new on the stream here, what we are doing is we are fleshing a coyote, scraping all the fat and crud off of it, so that way I can dry it for sale in the fur market. So if you're interested in trapping or anything like that, this is the place for you. So a minute ago I was talking about how we're going to flesh until we get down here by the arms, and now we are down here by the arms. Now the process changes. So what we got to do is we take the arm like that, put it on the end of that beam, and then you flesh all around that arm. So that skin there is super thin, and you got to be really careful not to ruin the pelt as you're going. You have to get all the fat off and all the membrane off, but you have to be careful not to poke a hole through the arm. So that arm's done. So we move to the next one. There we go. No new questions. So as we scoot around this arm, you can see where the fat and that membrane I was talking about is just clinging to this sucker. And we are making really good progress on this one. Perfect. Cool. So now we're going to go back to the back. So all these arms and all the neck and everything is as good as it's going to get. So now we move to the main part of this coyote. The part that's worth the most money is the back. And that's because, like, if you can see here, I'll show you on here. So on the back is where the most valuable fur is. And it's because it's where, like, the most consistent fur length is, and it's like where the most colorful fur is. Their bellies are white and have really thin fur, but their backs is what's always out in the elements, and they have really thick, long, pretty fur. If there was ugly fur, nobody would buy it. So all this stuff I'm flicking off my knife here, it's all coyote fat. This was an exceptionally healthy coyote, just a real fat one. That's what you want to see. You want healthy animals in your ecosystem, even these ones. These are a predator species, and most people, classify them as a nuisance, which in most cases they are. But that doesn't mean they don't serve their purpose. They have a place in the ecosystem just like everything else. But there sure is a lot of them. Sure is a lot of them. And if you get too many, then you start having a whole slew of other issues. So we're getting to this, we're still on the belly here, and we're getting down to the nuts and bolts of this thing, where we're going to start scraping the fat actually. Excuse me. Start scraping the fat off of this thing actually. Where right here, here's our first one where we're going to scrape the fat off right on the belly. Yeah. So there's a big old chunk. And then just like we've been doing this whole time, as we scrape some off, we're just going to roll it around and scrape it off the other side. Come on, there we go. So I really actually like it to be a little colder here in the garage when I'm doing this. Oh man, that one's gonna go forever. Cut that off there. I actually like it to be a little colder here in the garage when I'm doing this, because it seems like that 40-degree range is where this fat stiffens up and it seems to push a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead all the way back around to the back and push this huge bit down. Looks like we are down to 3 again. Cool deal. So we're just gonna push all this. It's all gotta go. I like getting it off there in one nice big sheet. It's kind of like a little mini game. It's a little challenge for yourself. Good night, that's nasty. It's really light colored fat. I'm sure somebody out there has eaten these and could tell you what it tastes like. But I am not that person. I've never eaten one, nor will I. I'd have to be downright desperate to eat one. So I guess I shouldn't say never. Come on, there we go. If I was hungry enough, I'd eat about anything. But I ain't that hungry. You 3 that are still watching there, You guys got any questions about trapping or my process for what I'm doing here? Because it doesn't seem like there's too much going on in the chat. I can probably keep up with it pretty easy. Let's go back to this other side. Yep. Good grief. So it's like not so much that you're really like pushing, you're mostly just putting your weight on it. You're mostly just putting your weight on it and hoping that it'll actually go. This one, we're getting down here to where some of this stuff's good and dried, so I'm losing my ability to really push it. Like, see this big old sheet that's all fat and membrane? We're gonna cut that right off there. All coyote fat in the trash. Gross. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I've made a critical error. Ooh, I really messed that one up. I messed that one up big time. I almost cut the tail off. We need a real leader up here like America has right now. Interesting. Not sure what that's all about, but Godspeed. Right here, there's just a little bit of like meat that I just did not get off in the skinning process that has got to go. And it's just a tiny little sliver, but you can't even leave that on there. Otherwise it'll ruin the entire thing. There we go. That's all she wrote, folks. That one's done. Man, I cannot believe I almost cut that whole tail off of there. What a rookie move. Uh-oh. Alright, that's gotta come off. I've been doing these all freaking week, and I still almost cut that tail off there. Can't believe that. That's what I get for thinking I'm good at something. Alright. One down, one to go. So I'm going to show you how to board this real quick. Scoot this good pelt out of the way. Oh, that's a coyote sweet. Had 4 running in my yard while we were getting ready for church the other day. Canadians will have to tune in here to learn how to feed themselves in 10 years when Canada is run into the ground by liberals. Amen, man. I'm glad I don't live in Canada. I suppose there's other places that are worse, but I can't think of many. I get some of this fat cleaned up off the floor here. It just makes a big old mess. Okay. All right, so now we are going to pull the ears back out. Make sure I got enough clothespins for this. Looks like I do. We're going to pull these ears back out. We're going to put this sucker on the board. go. Good night. Sheesh. Come on. I have to get the skinnier one. I tell you what, actually, since this one's being such a pain, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out the wood board. I haven't used this yet. My buddy used to trap raccoons, and he'd give me all this stuff from when he used to trap. I haven't used this yet. So I think, by God, I'm gonna. Oh, good grief, man, that one's not gonna work either. What did you shoot that coyote with? So this is not a shot coyote, this is a trapped coyote. I guess technically I did shoot it, but it was after it was trapped. I catch them in foothold traps. Wish I had one in here, I'd show it to you. But they're all outside. I catch them in foothold traps, and then I shoot them in the head with a 22 to save as much of the fur as I can. All right, this is gonna work. There we go. Just a skinny coyote. Not hardly anything on this one. Skinny old sucker. Okay, so we got a few things we need to do to this joker. Like, these legs gotta go. So right here, you can kind of see that that's the elbow, and I cut them off right below that elbow. Hang on. Yep. So I cut them off right below the elbow, just like that. And there it goes. Okay. We want them good and centered up. All right. So I'm going to put a clip on his nose up here. Just to hold him in place. I think I'm actually going to double clip him. These weak little clothespins don't really actually do that much, but they'll give me at least a little bit of wiggle room. Cut that piece of that lip off. Okay. Give me just enough wiggle room where it's not going to be too much of an issue. So I don't just, I used to shoot all my coyotes, and when I first started killing coyotes, however many years ago that was now, I didn't have a rifle for them, so I would just shoot them with a shotgun. I'd call them close and shoot them with a shotgun, which is very difficult to do. And then I used that money to buy a rifle that I could use to call coyotes. There we go, that's looking good. So use that money to buy a rifle that I could use to call coyotes. And then I shot them with that. That was a 223, and then I moved to like a Creedmoor with some special bullets that I loaded up for them. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the feet. And we're gonna borax the feet just a little bit. So this leg here, it's got these, if you can see that, it's got these special clips that got points. And what you do is you stretch this down, and then you hook that point on the leg. So I'm gonna hook them suckers up right quick. There we go. Okay, one done. About to get the second one here. Check that out. Perfect spot for hooking that through. Perfect spot for hooking it. There she goes. There's that. One more. There it goes. All right, so now that those are on there, you hold it up and then you pull down on them and you see it stretching that out. That's what we want. God, this is just not a thick coyote. Just not a thick coyote. Just skinny little rat. But skinny is better than no coyote, I suppose. Once we get these good and stretched down, we'll put a clothespin on the middle to keep them from coming unlatched from each other. Just like that. So clothespins are your friend, right? So now we got that taken care of. Now we got to move to the back. And this right there, I mean, they're just a sliver holding that tail on from where I messed that up. It's actually supposed to be on there, something like that. But I just totally made a mistake while I was skinning him. This might be one that I have to end up keeping for myself, just to prevent, you know, somebody buying it that can't use it. Oh man, we're back to zero. Shit, that is not good. Okay. Stretch his old ears. Whew. Man, I did a terrible job on this one. Pity to whoever ends up with this joker. How much can you sell that for? Oh, you're still here. Cool deal. So this one, after I get it dried, I'll probably be able to get, you know, 15 bucks out of it. If I'm oh gosh, dang it, man. I keep messing this one up. This might be one I end up having to keep. Gosh, dang it. I keep making these little mistakes that just keep dropping the value of this pelt. Drives me bonkers. There we go. So this one, like as it is right now, if I make no more mistakes, I'll probably get 10 bucks for it. Which is not too shabby. That is not that bad at all. Matter of fact, as far as coyote prices go, that's pretty darn good. Actually, I think I'm gonna leave that one just like that. That's not so bad. As far as coyote prices go, that's pretty good. All right, this one's ready to hang. Up we go. Actually, this one's got to hang on that side. So I've got a system here. I work in my garage, and it's kind of a tight space. So I've got to make sure that I do things efficiently. This is one that I got hanging that'll be, I had to flip it last night and it'll be dry tomorrow. This one's not mine. This is one that my friend shot, but he doesn't have the stuff to flesh him like I do, so I told him I would do it for him. And it looks really good. Looks really good. Okay, so we'll keep that. Keep those clothespins. I think I'm actually going to take those clothespins off of that one too. There we go. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go beginning to end on another one. I always start by wiping this table down. So this coyote is probably one of my best coyotes I've caught this year. I did an excellent job while skinning it, with the minor exception of a couple of holes there. But I did a really good job skinning this one. It's got no damage. And the fur is like super, super long. It's a super pretty color. This coyote is worth some money. So this one's probably a $20 coyote. You never quite make enough out of it to like really make it super worth or anything. But it's a labor of love. I really enjoy trapping, and I really want to make the most out of the animals I catch. And this is a super good way to just get every ounce out of what you catch. So what I'm doing here, he's got some dried blood in him from where I skinned him. And then a lot of times in their neck, they get like sandburrs and stuff. Right there's one. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They get a lot of sandburrs. That one's not a sandburr. That one's called a cocklebur. It's a water type plant. Come on. There we go. That's just the husk from it. They get caught in their fur. And you find a lot of them just right behind the neck there, because that's one of the places they can't reach to clean themselves. Just one of those places they just can't quite get to. Like, so this is dried blood from where I had it sitting in the back of my pickup for a little bit. But we gotta get that all out of there. There we go. Now we're making progress. Head itches. What state are these from? So these are Oklahoma coyotes, but they are not southern Oklahoma coyotes. So Oklahoma is a really long state with a bunch of different ecosystems in it. I guess every state really has a lot of different ecosystems, but Oklahoma seems to have quite a few more than other states. And these are from the northern part, where it's like a lot of brush and shrubs and stuff, so they don't get like damaged or anything, and you get just really high quality fur. Nice high quality fur. See how brushy that tail is? That's a really, really good one. Get all them sandburrs out of there. Flip her over. think this one's actually a male. Yep, this one's a male. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Son of a gun. Crap. I forgot to flip those legs when I was drying this thing yesterday. So those legs might still be really wet. I hope not, because that's going to make things a pain. So this is the belly. This part's actually really not worth anything. People hardly ever use the belly for stuff. If people make anything with the fur or hats, clothing, etc., or just hang or lay them. So, coyote fur, specifically this part right here along the back, is really common to see like the trimming of jackets and stuff. And then, what was that? Is that a bug? Yep. So, people trim hats with them. People use them on the backs of like really, really warm season gloves. Things like that, things of that nature. You'll see coyote fur. I am gonna try some hats this year. I'm gonna make some like bomber style hats, some pillbox hats. I'm gonna keep like a few of the best ones for myself so I can try a few things like that. I had this idea for making like a cool vest, but it's gonna take like probably 3 coyotes to do it and have it actually turn out the way I'm anticipating it turning out. Gosh dang. I did this again. So these ears just continue to be a problem for me. Just continue to just be the bane of my existence. I suck at doing the ears. And I've been practicing to get better, but it seems like my practice really is not paying off. I'm gonna have to change what I'm doing to make this more streamlined. There we go. Now I got a nice ear. This one looks like it's not gonna be too much trouble. What do you know? I was wrong. Oh no, there we go. Perfect. Cool. So it is actually going to be a lot of trouble right down here. There. There we go. Okay. So now, oh yeah, this one's going to go a lot smoother. So the only place I nicked it was right there in the bottom of the neck. So not a big deal. Not a super huge problem. Okay, so that last one had some spots where it was dried up and it was really hard to deal with. This one, not so much. I got this spot right here in the middle of the forehead that I'm gonna have to contend with, but for the most part, this coyote is looking really, it's looking like this is gonna be much better than the last one. Do you have more questions? By all means, drop them. Back to zero, baby. Back to zero. Oh, you're back. Must be in and out. I must be boring as hell to listen to. Hard to say I blame you. This is not the most interesting topic in the world. It is to me. I could talk about it for hours, but I understand how folks might get tired of listening to it. I'm still here, my man. So I'm struggling here on my ears again. I struggled on the last one. I'm struggling on this one because I'm just running into difficulties with my starting. I think I should be good to pull this now. So when you do these ears, you get a good little grip on it, and you should be able to just pull it. But you don't want to pull the whole ear itself off. So like right there, there's just the most delicate little line. Oh no. There's just the most delicate little line that you don't want to damage. And if you do, it'll jack up the entire system. So should be pretty good to pull this whole thing now. Yep. Perfect. So that's what you want it to look like. It looks like I'm gonna have to grab a hold of just the tiniest little piece here. So this is the cartilage in its ear. There we go. That's the cartilage in the ear. Done. That one actually came out super duper good. Super good. Okay. So let's work on this one here now. Get our ear flaps nice and loose. There it goes. Now let go. Okay. A few more folks in here. All right, somebody put a big comment in there. I'm gonna read that one. It's interesting to see this. Showed my girls and they thought it was cool. They're sometimes scared to go outside in the dark. The coyotes are here howling every night, tracking deer. Hey, they might not be tracking their deer. They might be tracking your chihuahua. Around here, so I live out in a really rural part of the state, and they eat a lot of barn cats. They eat a lot of barn cats. I've got some kids too, and they always come with me to check my traps and stuff like that. Not because they're so young still that it's not so much that they enjoy trapping, it's that they just kind of want to hang out with me, which is fine by me. That's a good enough reason for me. There we go. I think that'll do her. I think that's going to get us where we want to go. Yep, it is. So you kind of get it to this point where it just breaks loose just ever so slightly, and that's what you really need. So right here. Oh yeah, we're in business now. There we go. Cha-ching. All right. So now, this bit of meat right here and this bit of meat right here's got to go. This is part of the meat that controls how their ears point. That's got to come off of there. A lot of trappers kind of, so I can't say a lot. So some trappers don't really do the activity justice when they talk about it. You know, like coyotes need to be managed like any other game animal. But you'll see people being like, smoke a pack a day, you know? That's not really very fair, because it makes the rest of us, makes the folks that are really trying to do it right and really trying to like make the environment better for the game animals, like the deer you were saying about how the coyotes are tracking the deer. Like, a lot of folks don't realize just how many animals these predator species like this will eat. Oops, oh gosh dang it. Well, what else you gotta say there? What made you do these lives? Have you done a lot? So this is only my third one. I'd really like to get like a good camera to live stream with, like, and like do it through PC. So maybe things are a little more legit, but right now phone's just gonna have to do. And what really kind of got me doing it was my friend and I run this YouTube channel, and we're both avid outdoorsmen. We both mentor kids in the outdoors, and what we really were interested in was like showing everybody how to be a generalist outdoorsman. This is just one aspect of what we do. I mean, we hunt ducks, we hunt deer, we went bear hunting in Colorado a couple years ago. I mean, we do everything, right? We hunt upland birds. He's got a great pointing dog. It's just, that's why we started the channel, and I was hoping that this would be a really good way to like get folks to like view the channel more, right? So I've got 2 other live streams other than this one. I've only started doing them this week because it's really easy to live stream putting up coyotes in my garage. It's really hard to live stream our hunts, right? What else you guys say there? I'm in Alberta, lots of cattle here too they like to go after, but mainly the smaller deer. There's so many around here in the country. Yeah, so that's a great point. That's a great point. We have tons and tons of cattle where I'm at. And the ranchers, like where all my traps are at right now is on one landowner, and they're at his cow carcass pile because he stopped buying pairs, or he stopped buying pregnant heifers, so that way he didn't have to deal with his calves getting ate every spring by coyotes. So a lot of my traps are set at his carcass pile for the ones that die, and I've caught that one hanging there makes 8 coyotes in 8 days, which is like for the amount of traps I have out is like super good, super good. Alberta, huh? Alberta beef. That's a cool place. I've always wanted to go, but I really have. People say they always want to go somewhere, but living in the States is pretty great. There's a few things you gotta deal with, but for the most part, it's pretty great. It's a great place to live. It's just like anywhere. It's got its downsides. But there sure are a lot of positive aspects to living here. That's why everybody likes coming here. Everybody likes to complain about where they live. I don't have too much to say. Grew up in northern Ontario, more moose and bears around there. Still some coyotes, but also wolves. Lots of bear and moose stuff. So, I don't know if you read much, but there's this book by this guy named Dan Flores. It's called Coyote America. And it's not just United States, it's North America as a whole. And he goes over how coyotes got so spread out. Like, dude, there's coyotes that live in freaking Central Park. And he goes over how, like, with the poisoning of wolves in the 1800s to, like, where their native range is and stuff like that. It's like there are coyotes in 49 of 50 states. And if you really want to learn some stuff about coyotes, that is a great book. He's actually not a coyote hunter, not a trapper. He's in support of coyotes, but the book is excellent. The 50th state without Hawaii. It's way out there in the Pacific Ocean, so it probably is not going to get coyotes, but they got their own problems. They got their own problems. They got like mongooses and rats and they got all kinds of shit out there messing up stuff. Pigs. They got feral goats causing problems. They got axis deer causing problems. But there's coyotes all over the place, man. They are everywhere, and you can't get away from them. I mean, they're just like everywhere you go, you have the potential to see one. There's, in some states, there's coyotes that have adapted to living like in the city, where their hunting strategies, there's like, they target rats and stuff like that. And like they started eating people's pets really heavily, like in LA. Mountain lions and coyotes are the #1 threat to your pet. Hawaii, I figured. Nice. It's pretty cool that you're sticking around in the stream, dude. It's nice to have somebody. So it seems like every single time I've done this, there's one person, and that's all it takes to keep me going on these. There's one person that is just interested in what's going on. And that's like, man, that's for me, that's all I need. That's all it takes. If there's one person in the stream asking questions and being like genuinely interested in the goings on, that's all it takes for me to keep the stream up. There's guys out there that do this. Like I'm a hobbyist, right? There's guys that do this professionally. They'd have done had this sucker skinned like 20 minutes ago. They'd have had this done like it was a cakewalk. There we go. They make me look like a dang amateur. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but some of them folks that do this for a living are just built different. Okay, so we're gonna flip this sucker to the back now. So right there, that's a problem. I gotta get that off of there. Perfect. See that? So this isn't even fat. This is just a piece of membrane that's stuck to the skin. There we go. Now we're cooking. What else do you hunt? I hunt everything. So my buddy and I, we call ourselves generalist outdoorsmen, right? So we hunt all the predator species like raccoons, bobcats, skunks, all that stuff. Mostly we trap for those. But we hunt ducks, geese, cranes, looking around the garage here. So we bow fish, we do all sorts of fishing, hunt deer, elk. I've never hunted elk. Aaron has points in some places for elk hunts. He's killed some antelope. I've never had the opportunity, but I certainly would like to. What else does he hunt? We hunted bears, we hunt upland game like pheasants and quail. So where I live, we're actually like super close to one of the best pheasant quail areas in our state. And I'm fortunate, super fortunate, to have a lot of like private land access due to knowing a lot of the landowners in the area. So, like I said, generalist outdoorsmen, we hunt and fish pretty much year round, and we stay after it. I mean, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. It's one of the places. This is one of very few places where you can go, where you can pretty much be outside doing something like fishing or hunting almost all year round. Almost all year round. There's like, hunt turkeys too. That's my favorite thing to hunt. I can't believe I almost forgot them. Can't believe I almost forgot about turkeys. As a matter of fact, I like hunting turkeys so much, the only animal decor I have in my house is 4 turkey fans on that wall right there. My vision isn't very good. I'm looking at just my little phone screen over there, so every time I see one of your questions pop up, I have to lean in close and look at it. I think it might be about time to wash this towel. I wash it every 3 or 4 days, and I think I'm on day 4 right now. Oh no. Okay, so see right there? I made a mistake. Oh, that's where its wiener is. Okay, that's not a mistake. That's just something that happens. Okay. So that's where, this is a male coyote, and that's where penis comes out. And that's from when I skinned. That is not me messing up this hide. There we go. We're making good progress now. So all this is all fat that just scrapes off, and you gotta get rid of it somehow. So we're gonna go all the way to the belly here, where we don't have that much left. I'm glad you got a chuckle out of that. It pisses me off. We're gonna, yeah. Okay, so that's the first push all the way off the bottom of the coat, of the coyote. And then the rest of them are gonna be subsequent pushes off the bottom, but we'll just be working our way all the way around. See, like that. Just like so. And every time we get to the bottom, we'll push off another bit of fat. Fat and membrane, that's what we're after. We'll just roll this sucker around as we go. This is such a time-consuming task. This is what deters a lot of like fur hunters and trappers from keeping their catch. Look at this. This is just fat. It's just a sheet of fat. So when I first got into this, I didn't do the furs myself. I would sell them as what's called carcass coyotes, and buyers would come around and they would like buy. When I first got into this, like, prices were really good, and they would just flat out buy your coyotes. Like, all you had to do was get them cold. You didn't even have to freeze them. And those buyers would come around every 2 weeks. And that's how I saved up enough money to buy my first coyote rifle. I would shotgun them, and then when I had enough money to buy that rifle, I was deadly. Wasn't a coyote around that didn't know I was there. Hey, I might be blind as hell, but I can see all them laughing emojis. So. What's that? Or are you laughing at where I said that's his wiener? That's pretty funny too, though. Both of those are. Alright, so now we're to the point where this sheet is a problem. So this here has got to go. Check that out. Just fat and membrane. You never realize just how much fat's on them suckers. You think doing these maybe a little earlier in the day would help with the viewership? Because the only reason I'm doing these at night like this is because this is the time I have to do them. So I have a family too, and I like to spend time with them, and then I come out here and do this after they go to bed. Yummy. Gross. That's nasty, man. I can think of like 40 things I'd eat before I even considered eating one of these dudes. Man, you ought to check through some of our shorts on here. So nearby we have a pond that's got a lot of bullfrogs in it. and we did a catch and cook with some bullfrogs, and that's like some real hick stuff, right? And I posted that deal and on a couple of our other social medias. And man, dude, people were just coming out of the woodworks to be like, ew, that's gross. Man, I'll tell you what, everybody compares stuff to, oh, it tastes like chicken. It don't taste like chicken, but it is dang good. Just a sec, I'll read that in a minute, but I gotta get this off of here. Ugh. We're close. Ugh. There we go. So right now I'm at that portion of the tail that I really messed up on the last one. There we go. So that's the last bit of the sheet of fat. Let's get some of that crap out of the fur. Because that's just stuff that'll turn oily and rancid. And we do not need that happening. Do not need that happening. Gonna split the tail. There we go. I did that almost all the way first try. There we go. All right. Cool deal. All right, that one's done. Now we'll just board them up. Sweet. All right, what's that say? Family time, definitely worth it. I subbed and usually scrolling through the evenings like this. This is great stuff. Well, I appreciate you watching, man. Appreciate the sub. That's awfully cool of you. I think if we get a few folks that watch consistently like that, I think I might just keep on doing these. It's awfully fun. It's a good time for me too, not just you. Maybe if I can get enough of this going on, YouTube will finally start paying me. That's a good one. YouTube doesn't like stuff like this because it's like it's like against something they have where like a lot of hunting channels have problems where they get banned or they have some sort of like strikes on them or something like that. All right. We're gonna stretcher this sucker. Oh, we don't want that going on. Okay. We're coming down to the nitty gritty of this joker. There we go. I got the nose off super good. Cool. All right, so there's a few finishing things here. So many rules, crazy when this is what life was about 100 years ago. Dude, not even 100 years ago. In the 70s, there was this crazy huge fur boom where like dudes were living off of catching coyotes and muskrats, specifically muskrats. And those days are over. Like straight up, those days are over. That's never coming back. Unless you're like a pro trapper where you teach a lot of clinics and you have a lot of clients that want you to like come trap their ranches and stuff to like remove problem dogs, like problem coyotes and stuff. You're just not gonna find a way to make a living doing this. This, like I said, this is a hobby for me. Yeah, this is a hobby for me. So you say 100 years, bro, like, technically speaking, I guess 70s is 50 years ago. But yeah, it's just like I know one other trapper, and it's because he's my best friend. He only traps because I do it. I got him started on it. He used to trap coons back when he was in college, and they were worth a little bit of money then. They're not worth anything now. But it's just like that. Like, get this off of here. It's just like that. Like, you know, the fur market booms and busts, and it's done that since ever. But yeah, so like what's considered like the mountain man era, like the 1800s, around like the time of Lewis and Clark and stuff like that. That was like one of the most major trapping booms. Huge trapping boom. And they were trapping beavers. Those guys were catching beavers. So many rules. Yep. So, like you said there, one thing I want to point out, you said there that 100 years ago it was the way of life. For some of us, it still kind of is. I mean, you're watching me do it right now. And it's not like there's always people trying to take this away. Like people trying to stop trapping because it's so cruel. It's really not. It's really not. Like I could release, if I felt the need, I could release every single animal I catch because I only trap with footholds. Don't get me wrong, there's a place for conibear traps. Those are the ones like snap shut. What do you say? I remember learning about trapping back in school. They probably don't teach it a whole lot anymore. We homeschool it, and it was cool to find the stuff like this to show the kids as they learned. Yeah, that's really cool, man. That's super cool. Super cool. I think what I'm gonna do, I haven't made any of these streams public yet. So I think what I might do is just start making some of these public where it's basically just like a video, but this one we're coming up on 87 minutes. Shit, man, that's like an hour and 20 minutes. That's a long old stream, buddy. That's a long stream. But if people are going to get value out of it, by God, ouch. If there's value in it, I might just go ahead and start making these streams public. Whew, that is a big old coyote, man. Good night, that's a big coyote. That's what you want to see right there. Look at that. Look at that joker. Whew. Okay, so we're going to cut these off there at the elbow again. Cut them off at the elbow. So this is like, I had a question the other day about this specific part, cutting these legs off. And somebody was very concerned about, keep up the great work, brother. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for your future streams. Cool, man. Cool. I had a question the other day about, like, why do you not use the legs? And it's just because there's no real use for them. They're, like, until somebody comes up with a way to use them, they're not going to have any value. Man, nice job. That's a big one. Yeah, it's a really big one. This is like when I caught this one, I knew it was a big one. There's a huge size difference between the males and females, just like any other mammal. There's a huge size difference between the males and females, and coyotes are no exception. The males are a lot bigger, and the females are a lot smaller. Good grief, that's a big coyote. Man, I'm running out of safety pins. I think I'm gonna have to staple these ears. I hate doing that because they're a pain to remove, but What are you rubbing on it there? So that is just borax. It's just 20 mule team borax. And you rub it there, so like when it hangs, watch, I'll show you. So when it hangs, these arms hang down like that and they cover that. And you don't want that happening. I actually have to put a little bit on these ears here. So like right here. So right there where these ears are gonna be folded over like that, you want that to dry out overnight too. Scoot this that way. There we go. Cool. Oh, that's right. You said that earlier. Yeah. Yep. So this time it's just a little different. So I'm gonna staple these. And you basically just staple them through the ear to the skin on the other side of the ear. And the trick is to not staple it to your finger on accident. Not a particularly pleasant feeling, if I do say so myself. See, this ear, I did a really good job on that ear. Whoops. Can't staple it if there's nothing to staple it to behind it. I about stapled it to the eye socket. Let's try that again. There we go. Much better, much better. There we go. This just helps the pelt dry and works the moisture out from the parts touching. Yeah, so it doesn't really help the pelt dry any. You have to just give it time and the right temperature for it to dry correctly. But it's literally just time and the right temperature to get things to dry correctly. But you need, gosh dang it, there we go. Perfect. Oh man, one of my ears came undone. That's what I hate about the staples, they pull out so easy. Let's try it again. There we go. Winner, winner. Yeah, so like it just keeps it from slipping. It's not really that it helps it dry, it just keeps it from slipping. Slipping is the enemy. And borax is basically how you fight them. So like I'll put a bunch in the tail too, where I've split the tail. Put a ton of it in the tail. You asked me earlier why I started streaming like this, and every YouTube channel, I can't say I'm trying to be an influencer because I'm really not. It's just I have a day job, you know what I mean? And this is just a funsies thing. If I ever do make any money, it's just going to be enough to pay for my hobbies. But this here is like an avenue for that as well. But yep, all right, man. That Mammer Jammer. That sucker is as long as the entire, this is definitely the biggest one I've caught this year. Look at the size of that thing, man. Good night. That is one big dang coyote. Cool. Cool deal. So it just helps the pelt dry and works the moisture. Yep, yep. All right. I'll hang that sucker up. I think that might be it for me for the night. It's midnight. Holy crap, it's midnight. All right, man, I appreciate you watching. If you want, catch me on the next one. I'll do it again for sure. Thank you.